Welcome to Sense of Style. I'm Stuart, and despite that title, I think that young men, especially men between the ages of 15 and 25, are the best thing that's ever happened to men's fragrances because they are obsessed with fragrances. They are buying them like crazy. Not just cheap fragrances either, expensive ones as well. It is so good for the entire men's market. I mean, we're being taken now as seriously as women are, and the variety and availability of fragrances is better than it's ever been. However, that doesn't mean that I want to smell like a 20-year-old. I think men that are 35 and up have very different tastes than men in their teens and early 20s. They love their gourmands. They love their vanilla. And look, I like sweet fragrances. I really do. But it's getting ridiculous. So today I've got some great fragrances for men 35 and up, much more mature. Some of them sweet, but not too sweet. Let's get to it. Fragrance number 1 is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme, and this is exactly what I was talking about because there is no vanilla, there is no tonka, and there is no amber in this fragrance, and yet it is sweet and it's appealing without being too sweet. Why? Because this is based around a plum note. Now, plum is a sweet, fruity note. I think it's the deepest, sweetest fruity note there is, but there's nothing else. There's no vanilla on top of it. The plum alone takes care of the sweetness. There's also some cinnamon, there's some almond, there's some heliotrope, and heliotrope's a floral, but it has almondy facets, so there are a little bit of gourmandy facets there, but it's not too sweet. You're not blown away by vanilla. And the great thing about this is as it dries down, it gets more masculine because then the leather starts to kick in. Then the tobacco starts to kick in. And the deeper the dry down for Ideal Extreme, the more masculine it becomes and the more pleasant it becomes. Fragrance number 2, we're going about as far as we can possibly get from the current gourmandy vanillic trends. This is Eau de Basilic Pourpre, and this is from the house of Hermes. And this is one of 11 eau de colognes. They're all unisex and they're all very, very fresh. And when was the last time you heard anybody talk about an eau de cologne on Fragrance YouTube? So I'm very familiar with these eau de colognes. I own 2 of them. I have 2 decants, and then a 5th one I've tried and tested as well, and this is easily my favorite. Chad from A Gentleman's Journey gave me this sample. He loved it. This is one of the best fragrances I've tried, I don't know, in the last month or 2. It's really, really pleasant. Basilic Pourpre means purple basil. So it's a basil, it's an aromatic feel, but there's a fresh quality to it as well. You're going to get bergamot and geranium. And what I love about it is there's spices in the base, right? So you get a little bit of spices, not a lot. All these are very, very subtle. There's not a lot of fragrance oil, so you're getting subtle hints of things, but it comes together really, really nicely. Definitely my favorite. So the obvious question when you're talking about an eau de cologne, which doesn't have a lot of fragrance oil, is how's the performance? Well, I've tried other eau de colognes and other brands, and I'm not super impressed, but with this Hermes eau de cologne series, of the 5, I've gotten at least 5 hours with every single one of them. They don't tend to have a lot of projection, but in terms of longevity, I have no problems with these. I have no problem recommending any of them. Why? Like, why wear an eau de cologne? And to me, it's really simple. I noticed that a lot of YouTube channels, everything is beast mode. Everything is super powerful. Everything is super strong. That's a young person's perspective. Life is complicated. Life is weird. We have different wants and needs at different times. And when it comes to fragrances, sometimes you just want to feel refreshed. Eau de colognes work really, really well in very hot weather. And here's the thing. The eau de cologne that I had originally was from Guerlain. It didn't last very long. And then I started getting the Hermes ones. And I had them in my gym bag for a couple of years. I'm a big swimmer, and I'd go have a shower afterwards, and I'd always put on an eau de cologne afterwards. Because eau de colognes are far fresher than anything else you're going to try. And so if you're looking for that refreshing quality, eau de colognes are amazing. Fragrance number 3 is Narcisco Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum. And this is a perfect example of why parfums are much more likely to appeal to a mature over 35 demographic than under 35. Because this particular line is a woody, musky line with a little bit of spice. And this is a woody, musky fragrance, right? There are 3 woods in the base and there's a lot of musk. The spice is cardamom, but the key to this fragrance is iris which is more sophisticated and is definitely going to appeal to a more mature man, and leather. And you see leather a lot in parfums. And the reason is the older you are, the more likely you're going to want to be masculine, whereas these days everything is a little bit more androgynous. There is some tonka here, so there's an element of sweetness. And if you've been paying attention, you'll realize I've talked about iris, tonka, and leather. And if that sounds like Valentino Uomo Intense, you are correct. So this definitely bears a resemblance to it, but I like this more because Valentino Uomo Intense is a lot of vanilla, and this has tonka, a little bit less sweet. Valentino Uomo Intense has a lot of leather. This has suede, so a little bit less leather. And then this has iris. And so, yeah, I think this is an easier wear than Valentino Uomo Intense. To be fair, though, the performance isn't quite as strong as the Valentino Uomo Intense. It's strong. It's 6 to 8 hours. That's a little bit stronger, but you're going to pay less because it's Narcisco Rodriguez. It's not Valentino. This is a really, really good fragrance. And if you like the Dior Homme Intense, sweet, leather, iris combination, this is a good one. I would love for someone in their early 20s to wear this next fragrance. This is Gucci Guilty Absolute, and this is an absolute beast. This is the most masculine fragrance that I've ever tried. There is a ton of leather. There are a ton of dark woods, and there is a very strong cypress note in the mid that makes this extremely challenging, very, very masculine fragrance. Again, very, very different than what people are wearing today, but a very appealing fragrance nonetheless. And I've talked about the cypress note in the middle. I finally figured out where it comes from. Apparently, Hermes, which is a scent and flavoring company, supplied Gucci with an aroma chemical called goldenwood. And what it is they've taken a Nootka cypress from northwest Canada, and they created an aroma chemical called goldenwood, which is like super strong and very medicinal. And that is a core component as part of the spine of this fragrance. It's one of the things that makes it very challenging, but it's also one of the things that makes this fragrance very niche-like and completely underrated. So this is what I like to call a shake-up fragrance. Alessandro Michele was a new creative director. He came to Gucci. He wanted to shake up the house. He created this, which was very, very different than anything else in the Gucci Guilty line. It didn't go over well. It really didn't. It kind of bombed. It's been discontinued. But it's generally seen among collectors as an all-time classic, as kind of a niche designer fragrance. And how niche is it? Alberto Marias was the perfumer of this. This came out in 2017. Marias went to buy Kilian, and the next year created Dark Lord, which is extremely similar to this. I think fundamentally what you're getting here is a niche fragrance in a designer bottle. If Dark Lord is any indication, that's exactly what's going on. This is a classic. Fragrance number 5 is Dunhill Icon, and while this fragrance is nothing like Gucci Guilty Absolute, the origin story is almost exactly the same, because this fragrance came in 2015, right after they got a new creative director named John Ray. Dunhill was not doing well. The new creative director came in, he wanted to shake things up, and so he created this. And generally, this is thought of as being an iconic fragrance in the fragrance community, much like Gucci Guilty Absolute. But yeah, this is nothing like that. This is much more mass appealing. This is neroli based, which is very, very different. It's got some fresh elements too. There's a lot of bergamot and black pepper. There's 5 aromatic notes. So yeah, it's a citrus aromatic. It's very, very appealing. There's a sweetness that I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's definitely here. Really nice fragrance. And the presentation is fantastic. I don't know if you guys have ever used a Dunhill lighter, but it's got like a rib, sort of heavy texture. The bottle is based around that. And the bottle actually won Presentation of the Year when this first came out. I mean, they really overbuilt for this. You can see that there's engravings on the inside here. I mean, you can get this online for $45. This is a very heavy, nice presentation, and it was a very successful fragrance. Fragrance number 6 is for those of you that get angry at clone houses for stealing DNA from designer and niche houses. This is Bvlgari Pourpre. And this, it came out in 1996. It's got 4 woods in the base, and it's got a really nice, soothing tea and musk combination early on that I recognized right away. You see, Silver Mountain Water that came out in 1995 was my favorite scent of all time. And while Silver Mountain Water had, green facets and black currant, it introduced the tea musk combination that was very soothing the year before. And Bvlgari had no problem and putting it in a woody scent. So this doesn't smell like Silver Mountain Water, but that tea musk combination is clearly here. It was clearly, but it works. It works really well. It's a nice, clean office scent. And if you like that tea musk combo, if you are familiar with Silver Mountain Water, this is something to consider. Fragrance number 7 is a sport fragrance that I don't recommend anyone ever wear at the gym. This is Encre Noir Sport from the house of Lalique, and this is much more of an Encre Noir fragrance than it is a sport fragrance. And that matters because a sport fragrance is a fresh, easy to wear fragrance that you can wear in casual situations with a t-shirt or sweatpants or whatever. This is a vetiver fragrance. While it is the freshest in the Encre Noir line, there's grapefruit and bergamot and cypress, but this is a vetiver fragrance, which tends to work really well in more formal situations when you're dressed up or when you're at work. And so this being a vetiver fragrance, I don't think it translates well to the gym. It is, though, a really nice fragrance. It's long lasting, but it's just got a very specific place to wear it, and that is not in the gym. One element of this fragrance that people don't talk about is the color of the juice. Now, Encre Noir means black ink, right? And you can see, I'm going to put a picture up. This ink here looks kind of greenish. Originally, it was dark blue. It's gone slightly green over time. You can tell the ink it was never black. But yeah, it looks kind of cool. It's one of the things that I see when I have the bottle. Very difficult to translate over the camera. But I really like the fragrance. Took a long time, though, because vetiver can be really challenging. Finally, we have Eau de Gentiane Blanche. This is by Hermes, and this is one of the 2 bottles that I have in the Eau de Cologne line. And this is such a strange fragrance. This is the one that I really had trouble smelling at one point. And then there are times, I'd say most of the time, I get at least 6 hours with this. I've gotten 8 hours a couple of times. The thing about having a YouTube channel is I'm constantly testing how long fragrances last, and I vouch for this one. It's actually quite strong. So a Gentiane is a type of flower. It's a spring flower. You can get it in the Alps, and it's very, very fresh. So this fragrance has a green feel more than anything else. This also has iris and musk. I don't get a lot of iris. There's a fair amount of musk here. But it's super fresh. This is one that I would put regularly in my gym bag. I would get out of the pool after swimming. I'd have a shower. I'd put this on, and yeah, I'd be fresh for the next few hours. And it really was a nice reward. And I do think this line is really good. I've had some other eau de colognes before. Normally I get 1 or 2 hours, but I really do get a long lasting eau de cologne with these Hermes eau de colognes. So yeah, definitely a different kind of like older perspective here. I know I've talked about old school fragrances. That's something different entirely, but just having a more mature scent profile. Definitely my demographic seems to, the people that watch these videos seem to be a little bit older. So I like talking about them too. I mean, it is what I wear, so it works out. Anyway, thanks for watching.